Well, 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 would you look at this. Not the castle that's in front of you, but the fact that I haven't uploaded in over 20 days. I am ridiculously sorry about that. But as you can see, I have been nice and busy here in Planet Coaster 2, working on something rather unique. Now, I am a massive Disney parks fan. And as you can see by the architecture going on here, even the little ticket booths down here, the little custom-made ticket booths that I made, we are seeing a bit of Disney architecture right here. And this marks the entrance to the theme park that I'm working on, which is called Milton Keynes Kingdom. Yep, Milton Keynes Kingdom. So theoretically, this theme park right here is located in the wonderful city of Milton Keynes in the United Kingdom. The joke being that obviously the architecture in Milton Keynes could not even be further from what you're seeing here. Milton Keynes is a concrete jungle, and this is far from that. But yes, this is the entrance of the theme park. So whereas in Disney parks you would have a castle further inside the park, I thought it'd be kind of spicy to have the castle as the big entrance feature. And we're going to get into that, and I'm going to give you a little tour of what I've built here so far. But in my last video I made a steampunk indoor roller coaster, and you can actually still see the warehouse for that located in the back over there. That is that ride, and that ride will be featured in this theme park. But as it's easy to do in this game, I got completely sidetracked and built something completely different. So let me give you a tour of this and why I'm particularly proud of it. Which the reason I'm particularly proud of it is because there are no longer any fairy tale or castle pieces in this game. We obviously had castle and fairy tale pieces in the first Planet Coaster, but in this game we don't have any of that whatsoever. And I actually think that worked in my favor, because I built out of my comfort zone. A lot of what you're seeing here in these towers and stuff is built out of signs and little bits of wood to make, like all of these all of these little tiles on the roof here are little wooden, I don't even know what they were, but there's just lots of them, and I just duplicated them all over to make the tiles of this roof, for example. And even right here, this sort of long window, the cross beam pieces in the center of the window are signs that I put on a 45-degree angle to make these little golden beams. So when you build a theme that's not in the game, it pushes you to make little details out of different things, and that is why I'm particularly more proud of this castle than I would have been building a castle in the first game. Because in the first game I'd just think, oh yeah, I'll just use the castle turret piece or whatever, whereas this is completely a hodgepodge of all the different themes we have, such as mythological and literally anything. There's a lot of mythological in this, because you can kind of cross that over with fantasy, I guess. But yeah, it starts a bit further back here actually. Well, the first thing I built was the castle. Honestly, when I started building the castle, I did not even think that it would work out. I started building it thinking, let's see if this is something I can accomplish, and I was pretty satisfied with the results. So that's how we got here. Over here we have a typical Disney style bus stop area. If you've been to the Florida Disney parks, you'll be very familiar with how the buses stop in a very similar fashion to this. But yeah, this is not totally fleshed out yet. In fact, all of this area is still a massive work in progress. In fact, I'll be honest, the whole thing is a work in progress. Even the castle isn't complete. But you can see we've got buses. This is going to be potentially like a taxi drop-off road, but haven't fleshed that out yet. And over here we have the start of a Skyliner, which will take guests over to the car parks, is what I'm thinking. But originally I built all of this with the car parks right where you're looking right now. Either side of the ticket booths there was no trees, and it was all just tarmac. And I thought that doesn't really sit right with me, because I don't think that you should be able to park your car and be looking straight at this castle. I think you should park your car and be brought over here for the castle to be revealed to you, not revealed to you from where you're sat in your car where you've just parked up. I think that's a bit naff. So I think having the car park further away would be much better, and then you have the castle revealed to you, not from the seat of your car. I don't know, I'm just chatting. I don't know if that makes sense at all. If you're familiar with Disney's architecture, you're familiar with Go Away Green, and you'll see lots and lots of Go Away Green being used along this stretch of pathway, because I don't want your eye to be drawn to any of these things. I want you, obviously they're not invisible, you need to be able to see these things, which you can, they're not invisible, but your eye is entirely drawn towards the centerpiece over there, which is the castle. And that's why even the gatehouses, the ticket gatehouses, are largely consisting of the Go Away Green colour scheme. And as you see, I've made these little custom ticket gates, which every single one of them has one of those new rotational, animatronic pieces. So I've set each gate to randomly spring open at any point as if a guest is scanning their ticket on it. Obviously that won't be functional with actual guests, but I just thought it was a nice little touch just to use those new little rotational pieces. And those are the ticket gatehouses. They're not, they're kind of like, have sort of like grand architecture, and they are sort of built, but they're very subtle in their design. They're very thin, and they're not the main source of attention here, because that is going to what is behind, which is the main castle. Going through the center of the castle, we have a lovely train, which again, very Disney-esque. You have a train right at the center of the park. The train wasn't actually, I didn't plan to have a train going across there, but I trialed it, I was seeing if I could squeeze it in there, because you can see the clearance, if I get the camera right, the clearance there, it's very close on the roof, but luckily that's absolutely fine. We've got lots of flowers and topiary and lots of foliage, really doing a lot of the detailed heavy lifting here to really add some finer details to the building, because without a lot of these flowers, the brick can start to look slightly bland. I added these corner slab pieces to the sharper edges of the walls around the castle, because I think they look quite nice. And I made this sort of custom turret area up here, and here's the bridge, which from a distance looks particularly nice. The first time I made the bridge, I accidentally built the bridge on this rotational thing up here, so the bridge, funnily enough, was just spinning around this tower. A bit like these staircases in Hogwarts. It's not entirely complete. I have started on this back area. This is how it looks. So These 3 doorways are where guests would walk through as they're starting their day sort of out onto the theme park. And I'm happy with how this looks, but as for the rest of the backside of the castle, you can see it's very, very incomplete. But that comes with time. I'm particularly happy with how this entrance area is looking, I'll be honest. I think it's very nice. I like that it's not the same as Disney. Because this isn't Disney. I'm not trying to build Disney here. I'm trying to build I guess knockoff Disney. You know, this is Disney if it was built in Milton Keynes for some reason and had a massive budget, which would never happen. That would absolutely never happen whatsoever. But here is my little entrance area, and this has taken me way too long, but I love just dropping and sinking so much time into doing little details for little things in this game. If we go over to this side, inside the park, you see that there's the absolute bare bones start of what looks like a tiered viewing area, and that's because I want to do the nighttime show. I want the nighttime show to still utilize the castle, but obviously you can't do that from the front side because that's outside of the park, the theme park, the ticket area. So we're utilizing the back side of the castle, which will look very pretty. The back side of the castle will look very, very nice once it's done. It's just obviously not done yet. And this particularly works better now because there's no car park here. There is going to be a large amount of space left on either side of this path to allow for a safe zone for fireworks to launch on the left and right side. So when you're down here, we go down again, you'll have fireworks over there and fireworks over there. I very briefly started on a framework for the front facade of the Steampunk Dark Ride, which you saw in my last video, but I'll have to work on that a bit more and work on the land that will be featured in within this theme park, which is Milton Keynes Kingdom. I really want to work on more of the back of house stuff. So over here at the cable car, I'm going to build this massive warehouse, which will be where the pod storage is, the cable car pod storage. It's going to come off into this area, and all of the cable car pods will be stored in here, because that's how cable cars are realistically. They do have a giant storage area for all of these pods. They can come off the cable car circuit and go into there. Similarly, for this steam train, somewhere in the park, I'm going to have a massive train shed where the trains are stored. And yeah, back of house areas are kind of what I really love doing, funnily enough. I really enjoy building big warehouses and everything being a go-away green, because I just find that fascinating. And just quickly before I go, I figured I must show you this at night time, because of course I've covered the castle in some lovely lighting, which I think looks particularly nice at night. It's not crazy lighting, there's nothing mental going on here, but I just think it's nice to do subtle light. I particularly like these little rectangle lights, which you can just place on a floor to upshine a nice subtle glow onto things. I mean, you've obviously got the more traditional sort of spotlights from the first game, and these little lights which I scaled right the way down to miniature scale, because the further up the tower you get, the smaller things get in forced perspective, obviously. And then the ticket gatehouse buildings actually act as the perfect spotlight place. I don't know what to call it, but the perfect place to have the spotlights pointing up at the castle. So On both sides we have different colours, sort of lighting a nice glow onto the castle. It's just subtle, but it's very nice, and they're nice and hidden up on these rooftops. If you have any suggestions for this theme park, then feel free to let me know in the comments what rides you would like to see in here, for example, and all that. But yes, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next Planet Coaster 2 video, which will be whenever I get around to it. Goodbye.